You're listening to an ATYL Media production.
We're here in Sophia, North Carolina for round 4 of the 2026 zMax Cars Tour. New pavement would present a new challenge, but the determining factor for many may have been the washout from Saturday to Sunday. It wouldn't take a perfect performance, but an elite one. And with every pass, the defending champion proved he has returned to form. This is Saturday night on tour from Caraway. Starts right now, and here's Luke Baldwin with our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, can prove through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Let's go racing, boys!
Everyone wants to be there on Sunday, but as every short tracker will tell you, there is no Sunday without Saturday night. And every week, all across the nation, late models own Saturday night. This is the ballad of the sport's backbone, its hometown, its weekly star, and its greatest racing. This is Saturday night. This is On Tour. Welcome back to On Tour. My name is Buddy Pulley. I head up the short track coverage here on ATYL Media. I'm also a writer for Short Track Scene, and I feel very American after that national anthem from Luke Baldwin. I'm joined by my co-host, play-by-play announcer at Ace Speedway, my friend and yours, Chase Folsom, or as of course we know him on this channel as Chuck. Chuck, how you doing?
I am fantastic, buddy. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, man. We enjoyed a nice weekend at Caraway. We were both there 2 days. Not the same 2 days. Long weekend there in Sophia, North Carolina. But before we get into that, tell people you weren't at the Sunday for the race. Obviously, Saturday got rained out. What were you doing?
Yeah, so wonderful girlfriend Abby booked a birthday surprise, and unknowing to me until we pulled in the front gates, I went and drove with the Jeffrey Earnhardt Racing Experience at Newport Speedway on Sunday. So anybody looking forward to the Cars Tour race in October, any of you drivers watching, if you want some notes about the racetrack, a little bit of driver coaching on how to get around that place, just hit me up, man. I figured it out pretty quickly, so I've got you guys covered. Don't worry. Seemed like a fun weekend down there in Caraway, but before we get to that, some news and notes, buddy.
Yeah, we have a little bit of silly season mid-season. Cade Brown, it was announced prior to the Caraway race that he would be joining MKM Racing Development for select Cars Tour events. And then also Michael Bumgarner would join Rick Ware Racing. They will be fielding his weekly stuff at Hickory, as well as some Cars Tour races, and then the Martinsville 300 later on in the year. Both Chuck and I did stories on both of these new developments, moving and shaking at Caraway. We talked to both Cade and Michael. You can go to the On Tour ATYL YouTube or Instagram page and see both of those stories. And if you haven't subscribed to the On Tour ATYL YouTube channel, please do so. We appreciate it, so we can keep bringing you all the great short track coverage that we have come to enjoy delivering to you fine folks out there. Rain washed out Saturday, of course, as I said, and we were treated to a Sunday matinee. Starting off with the pro late model race, Drayton Lapcevich started on the pole. Rodney Dowlis, and he switched the lead a couple times and both dominated the early portions of the race until Drayton Lapcevich blew an engine while running second. And then Dowlis and Kaden Honeycutt lined up for the ensuing restart. Dowlis got a restart violation and was sent a row backwards, which we'll talk about that here in a little bit. That's a new rule as well. And Kaden Honeycutt took the lead and never looked back, never actually making a pass for the lead under green flag conditions. Not that Kaden Honeycutt needed a handout, but he certainly kind of got one there. His real only challenger there was Mason Walters, who also got called for a restart violation. Again, more on that in Hot Topics. Chuck, you kind of predicted this Kaden Honeycutt win.
So, on the way out Saturday, when it was starting to downpour, me and a couple gentlemen hid out in the bathrooms outside the racetrack because it was dry. And we got to talking about racing for a long while, and among many of the other topics, they asked me who I thought was going to win both races, actually. This is a little bit of breaking news here for Buddy. I predicted the winners of both races. I said that Kaden Honeycutt would win the Pro Late Model race, and that Landen Lewis would win the Late Model Stock Car race. So I guess I am the secret remedy for these two guys. I just need to start making predictions for people, I guess. And pick Kaden Honeycutt right and Landen Lewis for the Late Model Stock race.
I don't know how you balance on that short limb you went on to make those picks there, Chuck. But,
yeah, man. Tough choices. I really picked some sleepers.
Yeah, for sure. Kaden Honeycutt obviously getting the victory, the first win with that team, I believe, correct? Yeah.
First win with JT Motorsports in the car.
That's correct, yeah. He finished second at Nashville, so nice to get some redemption there. We did talk to Kaden Honeycutt after the Late Model Stock and Pro Late Model race, but more importantly after the Pro Late Model race. So let's hear what Kaden had to say about his win in the 100-lap feature.
My JC Motorsports guys, number 54, was they just did a really good job all weekend. Honestly, felt like we were good, but there was still some stuff I'd like to work on, more so in the front end. So. But yeah, great car. It was good enough to win today. I appreciate all those guys, CV Partners, Doe and Batter, Toyota, Clark's Automotive, Race Engines, everyone that supports the race team. I appreciate it very much. Without Jimmy, I wouldn't have been able to run a Pro Late Model this year, so I appreciate him very much for letting me do it.
You race everything. What is the biggest takeaway when you go to your day job in the truck series?
Yeah, I mean, I think the truck series is kind of a weird thing. I have to combine the super late model and the late model stock together, put the truck arm style stuff to it, and also put the speed sensation to it as well. But yeah, I mean, I've had really good truck year so far. I mean, I can't complain being second in points. I really appreciate the opportunity from Tricon Garage, Safe Flight, and the whole 11 crew that does an amazing job every single weekend. We've had a couple shots to win this year. Just my deal at Rockingham, I just didn't do the right thing to win the race. So I was pretty disappointed in myself for not doing that, and just had a hard race at Bristol the other week. So looking forward to going to my home state at Texas. Haven't made a lot of laps there, but looking forward to going there to 1.5 miles and seeing what we can do.
Taking a look at the top 10 results from the zMax Cars Tour Pro Late Model event at Caraway Speedway. It was, of course, Kaden Honeycutt scoring the victory over Rodney Dowlis, who rebounds from his restart violation to finish in the second position. Connor Jones rounded out our podium. Bertie Monahan finishes in the fourth position. Mason Walters, also with a restart violation, finishes in fifth. Dylan Gardner is sixth. Case James in seventh. Carson Ware finishes in the eighth spot. Defending champion Ben Mayer finishes ninth. And Chase Bergeson rounds out our top 10. As for the late model stock event, Landen Lewis proved to everyone that he had returned to form, winning the pole, winning practice, and leading the field to the green flag for the 125 lap Sunday feature. He led the race until lap 23. The first caution of the day came out where Matt Gould spun in the Nice Motorsports number 4 car, crew chiefed by our old buddy Connor Hall. Rough day for them. But on the restart, or coming to the restart, Landen Lewis got a choose cone violation, sending the 29 car to the rear and opening the door for Connor Jones and Chad McCumbee. Those two would battle it out. Jones would eventually get the best of car number 16 and dominated the show until the final caution of the race for Doug Barnes Jr. blowing an engine with 35 laps to go. Landen Lewis had worked his way all the way up into the top 5 by this point. Jared Fryer, Connor Jones, they line up on the restart on the front row. Fryer gets the lead. Jones and Lewis quickly dispose of Fryer, and the two traded blows going back and forth. Lewis finally made the winning pass by giving an old bump and run to Connor Jones down in turn 3 and 4 and driving off to victory. Chuck, I think the first words I said to Landen Lewis this weekend was, it seems like you have returned to form. You know, his first couple starts in the Tour this year wasn't the speed we saw out of the 29 car last year, but here he is, put on a heck of a show on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, you know, I kind of talked to him about this at Wake County. I did a little interview piece for Short Track Scene with him, and he said his goals for this year, they're not racing for anything other than wins. Their goal is just to be consistent, win races, and have fun. And it seemed like at Wake, they didn't, like you said, didn't quite have the pace that they maybe wanted. Nashville was kind of a guessing game for everybody, but finally saw that championship winning speed once again this past weekend, and at a track that he was really fast at last year, especially late in the race. So no surprise to see it, but nevertheless, impressive drive through the field, keep the nose of that race car clean, and then battle with Connor Jones at the end, man. That's just classic short track racing. That's what you love to see from the Cars Tour.
100%. I mean, 2025, you know, obviously you won the championship, but I think it was a big learning experience for Landen. I mean, there were, you know, aside from the wins, there were a lot of trials that he went through. I mean, he mentioned in his interview here the incident at Caraway, and he felt like he let one get away, and there were a couple instances like that where I feel like this race on Sunday, the way he was able to drive through the field and the way he was able to keep his nose clean and then get in a pretty knockdown, drag-out battle with Connor Jones. He's one of the fiercest competitors in the Tour, and both of them, you know, like you said, had a good old, you know, short-track racing battle. It showed a lot of showed a more polished racecraft from Landen Lewis, and I think that's dangerous for a lot of the field for sure. But obviously we did talk to Landen Lewis after the race about his drive through the field, his mistake that led to was the precipice for it, and his overall the win at Caraway.
Definitely informed today of what we needed to do. It gave me a lot of confidence, obviously, that, you know, I could still do this stuff. I was not losing confidence, but I was just getting frustrated because I like to win, and that's something that I enjoy doing with this group. So I knew today that we had a really good car, and yesterday we had a really good car, just putting all the pieces together, and I failed to do that by running over the choose cone. And then I knew that once I figured out what I did and what I made the mistake on, I knew that if I didn't answer it back, Kevin was probably going to be pretty upset. So, and I was pretty upset at myself. So I had to answer back and just honestly pick the right lanes, pick the right timing, and I don't blame Connor not one bit. I thought that whatever he gave me, I gave back. We're pretty equal, and after the race, I told him good job. He seems fine, but like I said, I think he was more so just upset at the 14 more than me. And he was upset he lost the lead, and I get it. I would have been upset too, but honestly, when I lost the lead off of 4, I immediately started replaying what happened last year to me with Minnie down in the 1 and 2, and I just kind of regrouped myself and just got back in what I needed to do and waited for him to make a mistake. He made a mistake, I capitalized on it, and then pulled away. So I think me maturing as a driver obviously helped me win that race for sure, and not beating the nose off of it, not beating the quarters off of it, and I think there's not a scratch on it but the nose. So just a positive day.
3 and 4 down there was new pavement. How much did that change things, or is it too hard to tell with the temperature and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was honestly, you put on a good race. The top came in down there a little bit, so you had to honestly capitalize down here your passing, because down there was kind of 2 grooves. So it raced really well, and honestly, like, I feel like it benefited the racetrack. It was kind of a thing where down here you had to be disciplined, smooth, hit your marks, try to keep driving the car, and then down there it was who could run through the fastest and get back to the throttle the hardest. So definitely 2 ends of the racetrack that were 2 totally different corners. So I think that played in my favor a little bit, coming from dirt racing and things like that, having to adjust to things. And I found something down here that me and Kaden worked on throughout the race to get to the front, and once he got in front of me, I figured out exactly what I needed to do, and then from that moment on, it was really good.
A mistake for Landen Lewis was entertainment for the rest of us. We got to watch him drive through the field, and we watched Connor Jones dominate the middle portions of the race. He drove out to a big lead there late in the going, and it looked like he was going to win the race had that final caution not come out. He had a hard-fought battle with Landen Lewis, and again, we say it every week with Connor Jones, and I'm the lead Connor Jones apologist for everyone out there who didn't know. He showed a lot of poise, scoring his third top 5 in just 4 races. Chuck, Connor Jones, I think it's undeniable he is going to be a championship contender in 2026.
Yeah, Ken Squire nicknamed Eric Jones that Jones boy. Well, we can just go a little more southern. Connor's that Jones fella. And that Jones fella's pretty good this year, man. He is seriously, contender number 1 to take it to Caden Quapple right now. Nobody else has stepped up to the challenge the way Connor Jones has. If you had asked me 4 months ago who my pick would have been, it probably wouldn't have been Connor. We hadn't seen the consistent speed and racecraft out of him yet, but between working with Justin Carroll and working with Landon Huffman, on a weekly basis, he has come around really quickly, and he's going to be tough to deal with for the rest of the year, and he shows that week in and week out.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at the 4 races, obviously those 2 are kind of going back and forth in the championship. Don't quote me on this, but I think Connor might have the lead. I don't know. Either way.
Not quite. I think Caden still got it because Caden still ran well. But
yeah, Caden dominated Southern National. Well, didn't dominate, but it was very clear he had the best car. Drove from the back to the front. Connor had a top subpar finish for, I guess, his other finishes there. That's kind of his only setback. But if you look at Wake County, I think Connor had the best car out of the 2 at Wake County. Connor had the best car out of the 2 at Nashville. Caden Quapple was able to kind of snooker him there on the restart. And then today, I mean, we talked to Caden as well, and Caden he had a 3rd place car. He admitted it. So if you're Connor Jones and you're looking over at your competition there and a couple garage stalls down, I got to be feeling pretty good. There's been a couple races really haven't fallen in his favor at all this year, and I think if they had, we could be looking at maybe 3 wins in a row for Connor Jones had a couple things gone differently. So it's interesting to see. He won his first 2 races with Mike Darn Racing at the end of 2024, and then had flashes of greatness, but a lot of kind of the same thing with Landa Lewis. We saw a more polished racecraft, and I think he's finally figuring out how to combine the speed and the racecraft, which is what this is all about. As much as we talk about this, it is the pinnacle of late model stock racing, but it still is a stepping stone. And those 2 drivers, it was a hell of a battle between those 2. To watch Connor Jones, we did talk to Connor after the race. I appreciate him basically interviewing himself. Not going to elaborate further on that, but here's Connor Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we were kind of he was a little better there at the end. I probably abused my stuff up front, and so yeah, he came up to the field, he did a good job, and yeah, I mean, it wasn't our day.
What have you done as a driver to get the performance out of yourself?
Just try and minimize damage as much as possible, and because I mean, I feel like even when I was with Mike and them, and they all really preached to me, the more you bring the race car back home in one piece, the more we can work on and make it faster. And I feel like it's the truth because you're not having to repair body panels and all that all day, every day. So yeah, that's been the main part. But these Carroll Speed Shop guys really do bust their ass on this thing every week to make it fast. And yeah, I just can't thank them. They bring me one heck of a IBCI Chevy.
Taking a look at the results from the zMax Car Store late model stock event at Caraway Speedway, it was of course Landen Lewis rebounding from his choose cone penalty to take victory. He finishes just ahead of Connor Jones and Kaden Quapple, our 2 championship leaders. Kaden Honeycutt rebounds from a restart incident to finish 4th, and Dylan Fetcho finishes in the 5th spot, making it his 2nd top 5 finish in as many weeks and as many starts in the Cars Tour. Let's hear from a couple of our top 5 finishers, Kaden Quapple, Kaden Honeycutt, and Dylan Fetcho.
Just mainly drive off. Yesterday in practice, even Friday, we didn't have the greatest car, but I felt like we were going to be a lot better in the race than we were qualifying. And we qualified 11th, which wasn't horrible, but knew or expected to have a really good race run car. And we just kind of didn't have it. I think it was a lot of it because we were racing in the day. We were expecting to be in the nighttime, and obviously didn't have it tight enough. And from the start of the race, I knew I was too free and was worried about the end of it, but we were just really good on restarts, gained a lot of spots on the outside. Raced hard when I needed to, and I guess had a couple breaks trying to get down on restarts. So a lot of it went our way. Just wish we had a little more. I definitely didn't think we had a winning car. I think if I had probably 10 more laps, I think I could have got the second. But second was pretty much tapped out for us. We weren't great all weekend, but I think we definitely maximized our effort for this weekend for sure. But yeah, just as always, man, we always come here and have a lot of speed and have the results to show for it. So yeah, just a great job by my whole Thomas Racing team.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Definitely a lot different than Nashville. This kind of takes me back to my Highland Rim days back when I was younger. So a lot of fun, just hard racing, and ended up fifth, so we're pretty happy with it.
I noticed you and Landen S were having a bit of a Donnybrook out there those last couple laps. What is it? Do you think it has something to do with the fact that these guys don't race you and you don't race them normally?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of it. I want to earn their respect, but I can't take what they give to me, so I got to give it back. It was a good race anyway, just a little rough.
Jared Fryer took the lead on the final restart of the race, but would fall to the 6th position. Trenton Lapsevich finishes in 7th. Carson Brown in 8th. London McKenzie missed a shift, causing the damage to Caden Quapple. He rebounds for a 9th place finish, and Chad McCumbee rounds out our top 10. Chase Burrow finishes 11th. Landon S. Huffman had a top 5 run going, but after a fierce battle with Dylan Fetcho, he would fall to the 12th position. Minnie Tyrell was a victim of the London McKenzie missed shift. He finishes in the 13th position. Parker Eatman rebounds from a crash to finish 14th. Michael Bumgarner, in his first Cars Tour start with Rick Rare Racing, finishes in the 15th position. Landon Huffman, another tough week. He finishes 16th. Aiden King in 17th. Sam Butler 18th. Brandon Lopez in 19th. And Brandon Pierce rounds out our top 20. Mason Bailey was the last car to finish on the lead lap, finishing 21st. Mason Diaz went for a spin. He finishes 22nd. Carson Lofton was involved in a crash. He finishes 23rd. Jace Hale in 24th. Ronnie Bassett Jr. and Donovan Stroud both involved in incidents. They finished 25th and 26th. Doug Barnes Jr. went up in smoke and flames on the back straightaway to bring out our last caution of the race. His engine expiring relegated him to a 27th place finish. Matt Gould would finish in the 28th spot. Brian Blevins in 29th, and Austin Samaro rounds out our field, finishing in 30th. All across the nation, Late Models own Friday and Saturday nights. Chuck, get ready to go on Filibuster. We got a lot to cover over the past couple weeks across the nation.
Taking you guys back 2 weekends ago, Landon Huffman picked up his first win of the year at Wake County Speedway in a 60-lap late model stock car feature. On that same Friday, April 17th, Dustin Rumley won again, 2 wins in the Twin 50s at Ace Speedway. Saturday, the American Canadian Tour was at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Northeast Classic 50. Picking up the win was Connor Salza. Southern Super Series was down at Montgomery Motor Speedway for the Rumble by the River that was dominated by Jake Garcia. Stockton 99 Speedway hosted the Cars Tour West Pro Late Models. That one was won by Kyle Keller. Trevor Ward spun his way to a late model stock car win at South Boston Speedway in the 125-lapper. Michael Bumgarner was a winner at Hickory Motor Speedway. Chase Burrow 2 for 2 on the year at Langley Speedway. Landon Huffman back-to-back 2 wins in 2 nights. He wins at Tri-County Speedway. DJ Shaw picks up the Pro All-Star Series Super Late Model feature win at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That wrapped up the action 2 weekends ago. And then this past weekend, of course, Landon Lewis, your Cars Tour winner, along with Kaden Honeycutt at Caraway Speedway. Gabe Brown picks up the late model win with the American Canadian Tour at Lee USA Speedway for the New Hampshire Governor's Cup 150. Alan Kress picks up the Cars Tour Pro Late Model Northwest win at Wentachie Valley Super Oval. schedule. Brandon Barker was a winner with the Pro All-Star Series at Lee USA Speedway, and Ty Majeski picked up the win with the ASA Midwest Tour at Slinger Super Speedway. 2 postponements due to Mother Nature in that time. That was the CRA Pro Series at Toledo Speedway on Saturday, April 18th, and the ASA Stars at Dominion Raceway on Sunday, April 26th. Both of those events have been postponed to a later date yet to be announced at this time. And buddy, we've got a whole list of racing action coming up this weekend.
Yes, we do. Friday, May 1st, Wake County Speedway will be back in action, as well as a speedway where Chuck and I will both be in attendance for that. Saturday, May 2nd, the Cars Tour West Super Late Models will be at Colorado National Speedway. South Boston Speedway and Tri-County will have their weekly shows as well. And on Sunday, May 3rd, Thunder Road opens their season with the American Canadian Tour, and ASA Midwest will be at Madison International Speedway as well. That's what's coming up across the nation.
Last but certainly not least, my favorite segment on the show, Hot Topic Across the Nation. And this one has been creeping up on us, and I don't understand why it's such a big issue, but restart violations, buddy, and missing and jumping the restart zone. What's your take on it? Why do you think it's become such a big thing in late model racing over the past year or so?
I don't, that's an interesting one because it's, I talked to, we obviously heard when we were recapping the Pro Late Model race, Mason Walters and Rodney Dowlis both had restart violations. I talked to both of them after the race. Mason Walters was kind of dumbfounded. He thought it was just, a mistake. He didn't think it was anything, that he could really point at otherwise. Rodney Dowlis said, kind of said the same thing, but he also pointed at the fact that Caraway's restart zone is on the straightaway and most restart zones are in the turn. Now, obviously, like you said, this has been going on for a while. Obviously, the most famous example, the Snowball Derby with Ty Majeski. It comes down, restarts just in general for late model racing have been the hot topic, whether it's missing a shift. We saw a couple of those on Saturday as well, one by Trayton Lapsevich and one by Landen McKenzie in the late model stock race. I don't understand. We seem to have, obviously, maybe Landon Huffman just needs to give us a tutorial on that as well.
I'm sorry, that caught me off guard. I don't know, man. Like, my issue isn't with the, don't tell Noah Gregson that. My issue isn't with the ruling and how it's being called. My issue is more the drivers. Why are you guys pushing the issue so hard? I don't understand what the enticing thing is about go as soon as you get to the line, because I'll tell you right now, especially when you're racing veterans of the sport, like, say veterans, guys that have been around late model racing longer, like a Kaden Honeycutt, he's expecting that you're going to try and do that, so he's going to go with you. I can't fathom, when you've got a whole restart zone, why everybody wants to push the limit to potentially get themselves in trouble, because everybody else can see that line too. You're not fooling anybody. They know that you're going to try and go as soon as you get to the line.
I don't know, dude. I mean, it's one of those deals. I mean, if you look at it, look, the whole field's separated by like a tenth and a half. I mean, you got to get every advantage you can. So I understand that, but you bring up a good point. Like Kaden Honeycutt, for example. When I talked to Mason Walters, he said he was watching Caden's bumper and see when it lifted to see when he could go, and he felt like he maybe just misjudged. We think back to a couple years ago. Carson Quapple snookered Brent Cruz at Southern National pretty good.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. I did think the call to not put the guys to the rear and put them to the next row was interesting. I don't mind it. Then again, I haven't talked to anyone about it, so I don't know yet to get an opinion on it. But as far as from my point of view, I didn't mind that ruling either.
I guess I understand it more from the guy in second's perspective. Like, he's trying to go when the leader does. My thing is, like, if you're the race leader, why? Why are you pushing that issue? Like, even going back to the Ty Majeski thing, like, that was the goofiest one to me, because they even gave him a warning, said, hey, don't do it again, and then he did it again. So I don't know, restarts are wonky in late model racing, whether they're jumping them or missing shifts. There's always something going on. That's just one that I thought has been interesting here recently.
Yeah, we maybe instead of Jeffrey Earnhardt driving experience, we need the Landen Huffman restart experience there for some of these guys, or really anyone. Ron Hornaday, man, what you doing? Like, you're at the track every week.
He can teach
like,
a class.
Just hold court. Come on, just hold court, Ron. But other than that, Chuck, you got anything else before we close this thing down?
I think we are good until we head out to our home track for the Cars Tour.
I mean, not our home track, but I guess a second.
It is
home.
right now.
It's our vacation home, honestly.
Okay.
But Chuck, obviously, the play-by-play announcer, and Ace. I'm the beach house. Yeah, the lovely beaches of Altamaha. But anyway, the next Cars Tour race will be at a Speedway on May 9th, which will be the recap of our next show. Please, if you would be so kindly to subscribe here on tour at ATYL Media. We are now covering modified racing. We had Sal Nicosia doing a recap for us from the Smart Tour event that I was in attendance for at Wake County, and then our boy Rob Motes did a recap of the Spring Sizzler. So dipping our toe into them redneck Indy cars. So more to come on that for sure. But you can follow us at the Buddy Pulley, at @CFolsom_racing, at ATYL Media, and at On Tour ATYL. And as always, support your local short tracks, and we'll see you after Ace.
Accepted 250. He is a knockout victory lane with Jesse.